Hey, this is Colin Nathan Aleem, the real estate boy, and welcome to the Mad Realtor. Okay, what we're going to be talking about today is we're going to be talking about Council President Darrell Clarke to introduce overhaul to the Philly Zoning Board. Okay, Philly zoning. If you in Philly, you know how complex this Philly zoning is. So we're going to go through this article that was in Plant Philly. Okay, it came out on the 15th. So let's get started. So what the article says is it says Philadelphia City Council President Darrell Clarke wants to radically restructure the city's zoning board over what he described as a series of decisions favoring developers and plans to introduce legislation to do so. So it looks like Darrell Clarke is hot. Okay, he's hot with the zoning board. And I've seen this brewing in and out the media for the last couple months. But Darrell Clarke is really heated with the zoning board. So let's see what's going on. It says in September 9th letter obtained by Plan Philly, Clarke laid out a plan to change the city's zoning board of adjustment. The 5 appointee commission that hears appeals from developers and others seeking to build in a way that doesn't comply with the city's zoning rules governing buildings size, scale, and relationship to the urban environment. The board is theoretically designed to grant relief for hardship linked to zoning restrictions, but has courted controversy for sometimes appealing to override community and councilmen's opposition to development. The board approves the vast majority of variance requests that make it to hearing. Okay, so when somebody wants to change the zoning, homes and buildings just in general, they have a zoning code, and that's what the use is for. So if you're in like a residential area, then the house is zoned to be residential, meaning that a business can't come in and just open up shop. And then you have commercial areas where you have places zoned for businesses. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to keep businesses over here and residentials over here. Okay. In essence, that's what they're trying to do, because you don't want to live like next to a gas station, or you don't want to live I don't know, in front or next to Marshalls where it has a lot of traffic. So theoretically, what they're trying to do is they're trying to separate. Well, what they're saying here is that Darrell Clarke, who is the president of the councilman, he's saying, listen, y'all approving everything. So according to him and his feelings is that they're not looking at the community, because when you want to change the zoning, what you want to do is you want a variance. And what that means is you want to change the zoning from the original purpose. So the house might be residential, but you may, and this is what happens in a lot of cases, you want to change it from single family to multi-family. And what they're saying is that a lot of developers are coming through and are getting what they want, but that wasn't the purpose of the board. The purpose of the board was to hear your claim out and decide, okay, whether it should be approved or not. But that seemed like it's not happening. So let's see what it says, okay? It says that, and this is what Clarke wrote in his letter, that the board has frequently violated the law by granting zoning variances without any demonstration of hardship by the developer. Far more often, the board is condescending to the community and dismissive of legitimate issues raised by neighbors. So what they're saying here is, and this is what Clarke wrote in his letter, he's saying, listen, this board, this zoning board, you're just giving out variances. You're just giving out variances and you're not listening to the community. All right. So that's what he's saying in essence. It goes on to say that the communication includes drafted legislation which would trigger a public referendum to amend the city charter to increase the size of the board to 7, professionalize certain seats, and impose council approval on positions that are currently appointed directly by the mayor. So according to the draft that Clarke sent, he's looking to change the structure of the board. He's looking to expand the board, and then he's looking to professionalize, meaning putting certain professionals in certain seats, with which comes later on in this article. The article continues. If approved, the ZBA is the zoning board. If approved, the ZBA will be required to include an urban planner, architect, zoning attorney, real estate finance expert, and 2 members from community organizations. The legislative language also states all members shall have a demonstrated sensitivity to community concerns regarding the protection and character of Philadelphia neighborhoods. The current bylaws do not mandate any specific qualifications or expertise. So what Clarke wants to do is he wants to put these people, an urban planner, architect, zoning attorney, real estate finance expert. He wants to make sure that the seats are filled by these individuals. What happens if you can't find them? But that's something else. And also 2 members from community organizations. It sounds murky, man. It sounds real murky. It sounds like you're trying to put so many people inside this board that nothing gets approved. And this is just my opinion, okay? This is the Mad Realtor's opinion. But if you have like the interest, it seemed like the interest might be different. The architect's interest might be different than the zoning attorney's interest. With a real estate finance, he may have other concerns. So if everybody have different concerns, then it seems like nothing's going to get done. All right, let's go back to the article and see what's happening. When some of these people, their last names, I'm gonna skip their last names, okay? So it says, currently the board is chaired by public affairs consultant and former city council Frank DeCecco. I'm probably saying his name terrible, okay? But right now the board, again, is chaired by Frank DeCecco, who took over after his successor was ensnarled in a corruption case involving electricians under leader John Doherty. And if you don't know about John Doherty in his case, go and look it up, okay? 2 other members, Confessor Plaza and James Snell, have ties to local building trade unions, while board member Thomas Holloman works as an architect. Vice Chair Carlos serves as the boards of several civil organizations and is married to local defense attorney, defense attorney. The director of planning and development also serves as an alternate member for absent members, an alternate for absent members. So they're just giving you, what does the board look like now? Okay, what does the board look like now? The article continues. Clarke will introduce the legislation Friday at the council's first session of the fall, according to the letter. So this Friday, which is today, Councilman or Clarke, he's going to introduce this legislation. Okay. Clarke's spokesperson, John Grace, declined to provide further comment on the letter. What this guy, Joe Grace, said was, "We'll let council president's memo to his members speak for itself." All right, y'all, it's going down. It is absolutely going down. So it's going down today. So again, Clarke is looking to transform the board. He's looking to totally transform the board out here, okay? The zoning board. Now, I've never gone in front of the zoning board, but I do know people that have gone, and a lot of times they're successful. But I kind of see what Clarke is saying, okay? Because when you go in front of a zoning board, the more money that you have, the more resources you can pull. The more resources you can pull, the better your argument is going to look. So if I go up there, a mom and pop investor, and I want to try to get a variance because I have a home and I want to get a variance to turn into a multifamily, I can go up there and I can present the case myself, okay? But if I had more money like these developers have, then what I could do is I could pay a lawyer to go up there. And of course, he's trained to argue. So, and again, Clarke, I think he's seeing a slant that a lot of these developers are getting approved for these variances. And it does seem like a lot of the members have different ties to different builders and different unions. So I don't know. It might be a good idea. All right. So the article says Philly is an outlier when it comes to zoning. Now there's two different sides of the coin. There's two opinions of why that is. The article says Philly stands out from other cities in terms of the sheer volume of zoning appeals heard each year. City data shows about 1,000 individual appeals, large and small, were lodged with the VBA in Philadelphia through 2021 so far. For comparison, New York City's similar Board of Standards and Appeals typically sees less than half that number in a year. So it's 2021. We're in September, which is the 9th month of the year. And we already got double the appeals of what New York has. That's a lot, y'all. That is a lot. Okay, they're going to give you a little bit of history here on the zoning. All right, so it says prior to a zoning code overhaul in the early 2010s, the board saw even more cases. At that time, reform advocates blamed the city's outdated and convoluted zoning code for effectively requiring variances even for run-of-the-mill projects. Okay, now they're putting the zoning board on blast. Okay, so there was a reform or overhaul in the early 2010s, and before that, the board saw more cases. So what they're saying is that the board saw all these cases because the zoning is outdated. Philadelphia is a very, very, very old city. So the way it's mapped out was from a long time ago. You have these cities that are popping up now, and they're able to adjust their zoning to what's going on in modern times. If you have a city that's here for a long time, okay, back in the 1700s, this area was for this. And back in the 1800s, this area is for this. So if you don't change those zonings, now you're going to get flooded with what? Variances. And this seems what's happening. Let's go back to the article. The article says, while code reform was meant to simplify the development process, recent years have seen the return of complex patchwork of more restrictive zoning overlays, often as a reaction to approaching development. So you got old areas. Again, Philadelphia is an old town. So you have old areas. Now, when development comes, let's get a variance for this, get a variance for this, get a variance for this. It doesn't seem that Philadelphia is keeping up with the times as far as zoning, which causes a lot of developers and a lot of investors to go downtown and try to get variances for the different projects. All right, so the author of this article, the article says Clarke has personally led some of these changes and generally pushed for more council control over development. He notably enacted a neighborhood preservation overlay in the Strawberry Mansion section of his district. The regulations were meant to limit height and density in a fast-changing area where property values are rising as developers buy up older row homes and renovate with high-end flourishes such as roof decks, which are banned under the overlay. All right, so Darrell Clarke is from Strawberry Mansion. Okay, that's his district. And I don't know if you know this, but when a councilman presents something for his district in reference to real estate, everybody basically bow down. Okay, everybody says, okay, that's his district, and just vote for him. It's a culture thing. Okay, so he put this in Strawberry Mansion because he felt like it was being overdeveloped. And Strawberry Mansion, you got a bunch of people going down in Strawberry Mansion and developing this. But my thing with this Okay, and what does make me mad is my thing about this is that Strawberry Mansion was in Beverly Hills before this gentrification. So if it wasn't if or let me put it something closer to Philadelphians' understanding. Strawberry Mansion, I don't know, wasn't Kenwood or Haddonford, okay, before this gentrification. So where was all of this talk before these developers started going in here and, for lack of a better word, gentrifying the place? So do we keep it like it is? Listen, I mean, for all intents and purposes, Strawberry Mansion was the hood, and a lot of it is still the hood. So do we keep it as the hood, or do we develop it? Okay? Or do we develop it? So I guess that's where I'm stuck at, is you want to slow down progress. This is what seems to me. You want to slow down progress. For what? For the drive-bys to keep, not drive-bys, we don't have a lot of drive-bys, but for the violence to keep happening in those areas? Are we addressing those problems? I need to know, because I don't see it. As the crime in Philadelphia gets more and more and more, your answer to that is to slow down gentrification? Come on, y'all. Come on. All right. So let's keep on going with the article. So it says the VBA is empowered to grant variances allowing development and access of existing height and density controls in certain circumstances. The board recently made headlines for approving a variance for a controversial apartment project in West Philly that District Councilman Jamie opposed, and a several-story apartment building in Old City that drew community opposition. So it seems like the community came out, okay? The community came out, and they still overturned them. They still overturned them, okay? Dan, stay with me. Let me just get through this article, man, and I'm gonna bring you on. All right, so Clarke's letter, excuse me, my voice goes up sometimes. Clarke's letter echoed many of these sentiments, okay? Stating that ZBA decision has resulted in the loss of affordability, loss of neighborhood character, and projects that are significantly out of scale with the neighborhood. Okay, so he said, listen, y'all coming in, y'all fixing these places up, and the people that are here can't afford to actually live in those places. And he's also saying that the neighborhood is losing its character. Man, what character? What character? The dope boys on the corner? Is that the character that is losing of the abandoned and blighted properties? Is that the character that Strawberry Mansion is losing? I would probably be safe to say that a lot of people would want them to lose that character, want them to lose those dope boys on the corner, want them to lose those blighted properties that has the place just rats just running all through. Okay, I'm sure a lot of people want them to lose that character. Let's continue. It says the zoning attorney Matt said the profusion of CBA cases also partially stemmed from City Council's own reluctance to remap a large part of the city, particularly growing areas. See, Matt about to get to it, okay? Matt about to get to it. This is an old city. You have to change a little bit with times. Now, I'm not talking about kicking anybody's grandmother out. I'm not. And the city I've seen the city have programs to where they look to fix older people's, off topic, can you talk about first-time home buyers? Not at this time, okay? Just DM me. All right, so what has Matt, because Matt about to get on it, okay? Matt says sometimes developers seek to do more than is allowed. But in Philadelphia, we have to ask for variances because so much of the city hasn't been remapped, or because the current designations don't match conditions on the ground. He said, He also said there are neighborhoods where you can't build new multifamily housing in areas where nearly every house, where nearly every house is multifamily. It often has no relationship to existing and future uses. And I'm going through that right now. I'm going through that right now. I have a fourplex, but it's only zoned as a duplex. Okay, and if you went to try to go and get that variance, man, you got to go and again, you got to get a lawyer. They just make it so cumbersome. They make it so cumbersome to get a variance. I mean, it's a long, drawn out process. Now, I'm saying it can't be done. But again, like I said earlier, that the more money that you put into it, then the better your outcome. And I think that's what Darrell Clarke is probably seeing also. All right, let's keep on with the article. It also says he also took issue with the language in a proposal requiring a demonstrated sensitivity to community concerns. He said the board is intended to make decisions through an objective process, not unlike a court of law. I like where he's going with this, okay? He's gonna break it out in this next sentence. He also says, in my mind, that language requires a certain viewpoint from a board member. He said, but the ZBA is a quasi-judicial body. You won't want a judge to have a particular viewpoint. You want them to apply the law and the facts, okay? I get where Matt's coming from. So Matt is saying, hey, listen, this zoning board is supposed to be a quasi-judicial body, all right? So it shouldn't have the community in the forefront, nor should it have the developer in the forefront. It should look at the law, look at the facts, and then make a decision. Make a decision based on that. And I feel him. I feel him. Because if I have a single family property, okay, put it like this. If I got a single family property in the hood, and again, there's dope boys, it's crack houses over there, and there's crack houses over there, and you telling me that you don't want me to develop this area for what? For what? So we can keep having these people out there peddling this poison to our community? When are we going to raise the bar as a standard? When are we going to raise the standard? When are we going to raise the bar? Okay? Okay, so people are coming in. So people are coming in and they're buying up these places and they're fixing them, they're improving them, and when they improve them, yes, they want a higher price. So instead of looking at these zoning boards and trying to change these zoning boards, why don't we look at the Philadelphia education system? So that, or try to teach these kids that are in high school trades, so that they can afford that high rise that went up in Strawberry Mansion, so they can afford that duplex that went up in Overbrook. How about that? That might be, I think that might be a little bit more productive. That might be a little bit more productive than to just, oh wait, the zoning board, let's slow it down. Because that's what it seems like to me. It seems like to me like they're trying to slow things down, okay? This is the last paragraph right here. It says that Clarke's proposal would require amending the city's, am I there? Yeah, okay. Clarke's proposal would require amending the city's home rule charter, which requires 2/3 majority of city council and subsequent approval from voters through a ballot question in the spring. Oh man, you can't hear me. Man, what did this thing do? I'm sitting here going off and y'all can't hear me. Okay, sorry, Instagram. I'm on Instagram and Facebook, but that call probably came in and that call probably messed me up. Okay, so next time I'm gonna put my phone on airplane mode. So, all right, so that's the article. All right, and again, he's supposed to be doing this. He's supposed to be introducing Darrell Clarke is supposed to be introducing this today. So we're going to see what happens and what comes of this, okay? But the Mad Realtor, I don't know if I'm for this. Okay, I really don't know if I'm for this. I think I'm kind of against it because I feel like it's going to be slowing. It's going to be slowing the variance processing down. I do think Philadelphia needs to be remapped. I do think Philadelphia needs to be remapped, and it seems like some of these people are trying to slow down progress. Okay, but again, that's just my opinion. Okay. All right, y'all. I'm looking to come to y'all daily on different matters that has to do with real estate, has to do with the community, it has to do with finances. It's your man Khalid Nathan Aleem, the real estate boy. I'm out.